Raiden Shogun is a top tier character with incredible damage and good supporting capabilities and versatile playstyle. And with her rerun just around the corner, this is an updated Raiden Shogun build guide. I will go over her talents, best weapons, how to build her, and some powerful teams. So let's begin. Raiden Shogun's elemental burst is her main source of damage with an initial burst of electro damage followed by electro infused normal attacks for 7 seconds. That also regenerates energy for the entire party, and it has its own damage multiplier and is considered as elemental burst damage with a 90 energy cost and 18 seconds cooldown. Damage dealt by her burst is further increased based on the number of Chakra Desideratas resolve stacks represented by this circle and the glowing spheres on the back. Resolve stacks can be earned by using elemental burst of party members, and the maximum number of resolve stacks is 60. Her elemental skill deals damage in an AoE when any enemy takes damage, and it deals damage every 0.9 seconds, and her skill also buffs the damage of party members' elemental burst based on the energy cost of their burst. This skill has a 100% uptime and has decent AoE that makes Raiden a great Hyperbloom trigger, and don't worry, I'll also cover her Hyperbloom build later, so watch the whole video. Raiden's normal attack is a 5-hit combo that deals physical damage that is almost never used in her gameplay. Moving on to Raiden's passives, her first passive gives Raiden 2 resolve stack whenever a party member gains energy particles, and second passive gives her electro damage bonus and more energy restoration from her elemental burst based on her energy recharge. This passive makes building Raiden very interesting that we will cover in the build section. So for the talent priority of a DPS Raiden, her elemental burst should be the one to be leveled up first, then her elemental skill, because the extra burst damage bonus increases with the talent level and caps at level 9, and normal attacks can be left alone to save resources. And for a Hyperbloom Raiden, you don't need to level up any talents, but leveling them will improve her damage and utility. Raiden got some interesting weapon choices for a main DPS build. The Engulfing Lightning is her best in slot. It gives a lot of energy recharge and it converts energy into attack with its passive. This makes building energy recharge on Raiden very crucial, as the more energy she has, the more attack she will have, and energy recharge also increases her electro damage bonus. So if you want your Raiden to do the maximum damage possible, you want to consider Engulfing Lightning. Staff of Homa is a great weapon for any DPS due to the good amount of base attack and high crit damage, and the passive increases attack based on max HP. Now, the Staff of Homa is nowhere close to the Engulfing Lightning, but the stats it provides is good for any Polam character and is the second best 5-star for Raiden. Skyward Spine is also a good option with its high base attack and energy recharge stats and a passive that increases a little bit of crit rate. It is definitely a good choice. It is a standard banner weapon, and the same goes for the Primordial Jade Wing Spear. It also has a high base attack and crit rate, and the passive increases attack on hit that stacks up to 7 times, and upon reaching the max stack increases damage dealt. This weapon can outperform Skyward Spine at R1 with max stacks, but by the time you will get the max stacks, your burst will run out. As for the 4-star options, the Catch is the best, and at R5, the Catch can easily outperform most 5-star weapons. It has good base attack for a 4-star and energy recharge, and the passive increases elemental burst damage and crit rate, which is Raiden's main source of damage. The Battle Pass weapon Deathmatch is another great weapon with a little low base attack but good amount of crit rate, and the passive increases attack and defense when there are enemies nearby. Deathmatch at R1 is not better than a R5 Catch, but at Refinement 5, Deathmatch edges out the Catch by a little. And for a Hyperbloom or Quick Bloom Raiden, the Staff of Scarlet Sands is a great weapon. It has low base attack but a very high crit rate and passive that increases attack based on elemental mastery, and it's a lot of attack. And for Hyperbloom or Quick Bloom, you will build your Raiden with a lot of elemental mastery, and this passive synergizes beautifully with that. And for a pure Hyperbloom weapon, the Dragon's Bane is the best for the massive elemental mastery it provides, and the same goes for the 2 craftables, Titan Cross and Moon Piercer. Both gives 110 elemental mastery each, and if you have the Ballad, the new Battle Pass Polam that has crit rate, and its passive gives elemental mastery when there are at least 3 different elemental types in your party, and at Refinement 5, it gives a whopping 250 elemental mastery, which is the highest amount you can get on a weapon. But what about artifacts, you may ask? Well, artifact choice is rather easy. The best artifact set is the Emblem of Severed Faith. It is handmade for Raiden. This set increases energy recharge and increases elemental burst damage based on energy recharge up to a maximum of 75% bonus damage. That means you will need 300% energy recharge to get the full 75% bonus, and in case you don't have a full emblem set, use 2-piece attack percent or energy recharge or burst damage and 2-piece electro damage artifacts until you get a full emblem set. As for how to build her, DPS build will use an energy recharge sands, which is better in general, but you can also use attack percent sands if you are lacking attack or have better substats and using an energy recharge weapon, but don't use attack percent sands if you are using Engulfing Lightning. The amount of attack you will get with the energy recharge sands is more than an attack percent sands. Same with the goblet. If you are using attack sands, always use electro damage goblet, and in case of energy recharge sands, you can use attack percent goblet. And in my personal opinion, running energy recharge sands with attack percent goblet will generally give you better results, and circlet will be either crit rate or crit damage, whatever you are lacking. And for substats, aim for crit rate and damage, followed by energy recharge and attack percent. And for a quick bloom or hyper bloom Raiden, use the Flower of Paradise Lost or the Gilded Dreams set. Gilded Dreams will be better for a quick bloom team, and you want as much elemental mastery as possible, so elemental mastery Sands, Goblet and Circlet. And for substats, aim for elemental mastery and crit damage for a quick bloom setup. As for Raiden's best team comps, there are quite a lot. First is the most popular team, Raiden National. This team will have Raiden, Xingqiu, Xiangling and Bennett. This is the national team where Raiden is the driver, and this team utilizes a lot of reaction to do lots of damage. Next is Raiden Hyper Carry. That will have Raiden, Kazuha, Bennett and C6 Kujo Sara. Bennett for attack boost, Kazuha for increased damage bonus, and C6 Sara will give 60% more crit damage to Raiden. Next is one of my favorite Raiden teams, Raiden Electro Charge. This team will have Raiden, Bennett, Kazuha and Yelan or Furina. Once again, Bennett and Kazuha for their respective buffs, and Yelan or Furina will provide more damage boost and a lot of off-field hydro that will result in Electro Charge reaction, and this is very good against large groups of enemies. Next is the Hyper Bloom team, which will have Raiden, Nahida, Yelan or Xingqiu and another Dendro or Hydro DPS or healer, whatever you want. Nahida and your Hydro unit will produce a lot of Dendro cores, and Raiden will trigger the Hyper Blooms, and you can bring someone like Alhaitham to be the on-field DPS who can do pretty good damage with the spread reaction. And the Quick Bloom team will have the same team comp as the Hyper Bloom team, but Raiden will be the main on-field DPS, and you can bring someone like Fischl or Yaimiko for extra off-field Electro to proc more aggravate reactions. So in conclusion, Raiden is a very good and flexible character that has some amazing weapons for a free-to-play and is worth investing into. And if you want to know about the best 5-star characters that you should be using, check out this video. See you in the next one.